Ghosts, UFOs, alien encounters, and all things paranormal. These are real stories from real people. This is Fear of the Unknown.
Hey.
Hey, all you ladies out there in Radio Land. I wish I had a deep voice, hey. That's my number one regret in life, that I don't have this deep booming...
Oh, you can still always train it, yeah? You can always extend your range through vocal practices and stuff. It is doable.
I'm an extremely, undisciplined person, though.
You're talking to the most, okay? I promise you.
Anyway, I'm here with so far my favourite guest.
Oh, shucks.
He brought me coffee.
Is that all it takes? Is it just coffee and I'm your favourite?
No one's given me shit.
Oh, okay. I got to watch out for that.
No, this is awesome. I'm really excited to have you because you have implied that you have some doozies for me.
Oh, well, I hope I haven't oversold it.
Yeah,
it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I got to tell you.
But first of all, I just want to know, when it comes to the paranormal, what do you believe in?
Oh, okay.
The whole spectrum, and anything from religion to...
Oh, okay. Well,
to the bogeyman.
I can sum that in a little nutshell.
Okay.
I'm a Buddhist agnostic. Mm-hmm. I treat Buddhism as a philosophy, not a religion, so I don't believe it. But it's, a set of guidelines that are kind of flexible and blah, blah, blah. They're the best thing I've found so far. And agnosticism is that kind of general, I don't know, kind of attitude. So it kind of it leaves everything. Right. I feel it gives me an open mind to accept lots of things. And it also doesn't put me in a position or a viewpoint to say, well, no, that contradicts this. And, no, I actually know better.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It seems to be the first step to enlightenment is to judge everyone else's enlightenment.
Yeah. That's the
and that's with everything.
Pretty much
every type of enlightenment that you can imagine.
Yeah.
Well,
I think it's the funny
everything
kind of
from science all the way through religion.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, God damn it! I had a good quote for that. I was wondering if you were going to ask me about my own question. Essentially, it was scientists and magicians should essentially not believe in anything, because that's the best kind of standpoint to go from, I guess. The funny thing, at least with Buddhism, is the end clause that they don't really tell you about is once you've achieved enlightenment, you've then got a choice to go be enlightened, or to give it up to come back and tell other people how to become enlightened.
All right.
Yeah. So it's this kind of ultimate ego choice kind of thing. Do you want to, now that you've attained this wonderful
and
nirvana state, do you go to it or do you come back?
Is it the part that you're agnostic about? As in, what happens at the end and that decision?
Well, about everything, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in terms
even
of
your day-to-day things and blah, blah, blah. It's I don't know. Anyone could change my mind.
I mean, in terms of Buddhism.
Oh,
with that specific principle or that teaching or that belief.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll figure it out when I get there. Is pretty much.
Yeah. No, that's
look at it.
Yeah, that's a pretty wise way to go. I love it when I talk to people and meet people that totally embrace what they don't know and they're happy with that.
Yeah.
They're at peace with not knowing.
Yeah.
They don't have to be like, well, it's probably this.
Yeah.
And a theory quickly turns into their manifesto.
Yeah, well, that's it. And I think one of the biggest examples that kind of put me in that frame point was the Stephen Hawking wager loss. Wagered a subscription to Penthouse or Playboy or something with this fellow scientist about his theory about black holes.
Yeah.
But then he lost it because he disproved it. He went, okay, well, I'm actually going to look into this a bit finer. He's like, oh, fuck, all my theories are wrong. I was actually wrong about this. Here's your Playboy subscription, but now I know what the right answer is.
Right.
So if I think the big trick is it's about you don't want to be locked into something as such. There's got to be room for
growth
change
and evolution.
Exactly. And not knowing what's going on really allows for that.
Yeah, and that's I mean, I've said it before. That's one of the main reasons why I'm doing this podcast, because I want to have room to grow. I want that part of my mind that traditionally I've always kind of said no. I won't be thinking about that. I'll just be focusing on these set rules that I've given myself. I think it's a good opportunity to just allow yourself to go nuts.
Yeah, well, exactly.
And, not believe, but just speculate. Speculating can be one of the stupidest and funnest, or sometimes most like rewarding things.
Well, that's it. And I don't understand how, finding out something new or, changing for the better could be a detriment, But I do understand how, some people find safety in rigidity and...
Yeah. Well, it depends on the person, hey?
Of course.
It's not for everyone.
Exactly.
Yeah. So... Let's talk about some spooky stuff.
Okay, cool. So I guess I'll just launch into
go for it. Yeah,
my details and my stories.
Yeah. Is this chronological?
I tried to be as much as possible.
Right. Just for everyone listening, he's got his own. I'll take a photo of it right now. Here we go. He's got a little notebook, and it's the Necronomicon.
It is actually an official notebook of the dead.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Funnily enough, I found this when I was finding this object that I'm going to show you a bit later.
Okay.
Sorry, all you podcasters, you ain't going to see shit. Okay, so many, many years ago, over in Mount Lawley, funnily enough, on Monmouth Street, there was an old nursing home.
It's a great setting.
I know, it's just...
I've already got the willies. By the way, we call it the willies.
The willies?
On this podcast. We're going to get the heebie-jeebies.
You're going to get plenty of these.
Yeah.
I got plenty of willies just thinking of these stories. It essentially got abandoned.
Yeah.
It was shut down, in theory, due to the changes in patient stretcher sizes. So the hallways were a certain width, and then they changed the stretcher size, so they couldn't actually get stretchers down them or something, or...
Okay, stretcher size.
I
thought you meant there was a new
stretcher size.
Okay, yeah. So the stretchers were
copyright stretcher size. The stretcher sizes. I'm guessing that if someone was sick or if there was someone that had actually passed on that was deceased, they couldn't get them out. So
oh no,
it's regulations changed. This place got shut down, but then it didn't just get shut down and packed up and moved on. It got abandoned.
Yeah,
and as I shall explain to you, there's just all this random odd stuff left behind,
and that's just nearby. This is just essentially around the corner. Okay,
not anymore, unfortunately.
Yep.
This is definitely a tale of past times, but it's just around the corner, which is kind of creepy. So I hate to say it, but he's very literally a friend of mine.
Yeah,
this happened.
I trust it.
Yeah. But they were both Whopper theatre students, and the friend's friend would always just get kind of. I think she's one of those people that was in tune, if you would like to say, to
awakened
vibes and energies and all that kind of stuff, and she'd get bad juju feelings about this place, even to the point, so she told our friend about it, and they'd go kind of park in the driveway, and she's just like, I can't even sit here outside the building. This is freaking me out. Can we go? And so
did you witness this?
I did not.
Okay.
But of course my friend was like, "Ooh, okay, I've got to go check this out myself." Yeah. So he went in. I'm probably sure shat himself a few times with the wheelies. And so then he got us along, and we kind of Scooby-Dooed it.
Yeah.
So essentially it was like a big U-shaped building, so 2 wings. So we kind of, every night we'd do a little section, little wing. Right. Kind of go checking it out with our torches and freaking each other out.
That's great.
Yeah.
I used to love doing that.
Yeah. And it was just so so interesting to have that, just kind of in your back garden kind of thing. So weird stuff just as you're getting in. The exterior was thoroughly weathered. So, there were houses next door, blah, blah, blah. Pavements were cracked, and the signs for this place were chipped and kind of melting, and it's almost as if it had 100 years of weather in our normal human time or something. I know what you mean.
It's like the spirits they're in the grounds, and they feed the plants, and they're destroy this fucking place.
Yeah. I always get the image of there's a great moment in one of the Terry Pratchett Discworld books where there's this old temple, and when they kind of finish it and it destroys itself, 100 years of time happens to it, it's like it's kind of been kept out of the loop, and then all of a sudden, once it's happening, it just decays and crumbles and falls in front of them, and that's what it kind of looked like. It was like this thing was out of time. It was it was just kind of weird. So nothing was locked. Front doors were open.
Were there stuff left, like filing cabinets?
Yeah.
With files? Oh, what? That's like American Horror Story.
Yeah. So, and then the other weird thing, no animals, no squatters. So we're talking, this is like maybe like a 20, 30 room place. Nothing was there.
Was there like graffiti?
No.
Fuck off.
Like people had not gone into this place, or if they had not stayed very long, because it was just, That was our one kind of freaky thing, was like, who were we going to stumble across? Because this seems like a perfect opportunity. Apparently not.
Yeah.
Apparently not so perfect.
My friend Sophia and I, we explored places around Fremantle, and there was like this old kind of warehouse that was just it just was creepy as hell. And it was falling apart and stuff. It's like this place was going to fall on your head.
Oh, yeah.
But it was so huge. It was like such a huge factory floor that, it took a few like...
goes at it.
Yeah, it took a few episodes to get to it. And like one day, like underneath a bit of corrugated like metal, there was like must have been a homeless guy sleeping there.
No way.
And we're just kind of like, we're walking towards that part because it's the part we hadn't been to. It was on the further side. And we just hear like this shuffling around. Like we just bolted out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway. Anyway, it's
well. Then you'll know the feels, because like we have a bolt out of there moment too.
All right, go on.
So yeah, completely abandoned. But then the weird thing was the stuff that was left behind, and the way it was left behind. So there was just some things that didn't add up. And look, the inner skeptic in me is, of course, someone could be playing around or whatever, or I mean, we happened to find this out through theatre students, so kind of one of the thoughts was like, has someone set this up and kind of told people about this place, and then they come in and like screw around with things, knowing that, but that's a lot of effort to go to just to jerk someone about. So it's I don't find that valid theory.
The thing that I find already chilling about the place is that it hasn't been messed with in a typical sense. Like, the first thing that happens is that people go in and start practicing like spraying and like graffiti, and people immediately, they want a place to sleep. So you're going to find like old dirty sheets or like cigarette butts.
That's it. None of that.
Wow.
It was just, this place was abandoned and continued to be abandoned into the present time.
Okay.
All right. So immediately when you get in, there's a pile of phone books.
Okay.
So people have come to deliver these phone books, taken one step in the door and gone, fuck this, and just run out. There's this pile of phone books. Over the years, people have come in and just abandoned these phone books. Yeah.
Wow.
so all these things just pointing to people not wanting to be there.
Look, and it's so funny because I've delivered phone books.
Yeah.
And you just want to get rid of the fuckers. Even if you know a place is abandoned, you just like yeet.
But yeah, just
wow. Okay.
They were in and out. It was like they did not want to be there, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So most of the rooms are empty, but some of them just had some absolute random crap in them. So one of the rooms, dead bees.
Dead bees?
Just dead bees. It was the dead bee room. Like, that was its thing. Nothing. No.
Was there a hive in there?
No. Just dead bees. And the only room. So, like, these are corridors of, 10 or so next to each other.
Okay.
That was one of them. That was the dead bee room.
Okay.
No other room had bees in it. No other sign of anything. It was just that room.
Okay.
That was where they where they went to die. Weird stuff like
Can we just dwell on the dead bee room for a second?
Yes.
Gun to your head, if no one was to judge you,
yep,
what could be like an explanation for that? Even if it's some type of unrealistic sort of supernatural explanation. What sort of vibe did it give you? Is basically what I'm saying.
Well, oh god,
they just went there to die.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I'm guessing the rationale might be there may have been a nest somewhere.
Right.
But again, it's like, look, if someone came in and dealt with it, wouldn't you clean up the dead bees? Like, again, you know, I mean, yes, it's abandoned, but, you know, you're kind of not doing your job. Or did they go in there, spray the crap out of them, something happened, and they got the hell out of there and just like, look, sorry, you can't pay us enough to get rid of these dead bees. Yeah.
Do you know what comes to mind when I heard that? You know, like some type of like Blair Witch sort of situation.
Yeah.
Where like the presence of the Blair Witch is there and just bees appear and die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like their purpose in life is to be dead on the floor.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Continue the tour.
How are those willies going?
Yeah, pretty good. I got him.
Okay. Oh, okay. We're at least a 2 on the willy scale. I like it.
Right.
Copyright willy scale. Okay. So. Oh yeah. When we get in, there's building schematics.
Okay.
For the whole place.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. I did like that because that made it feel very like Resident Evil-y.
It's
you know,
potential.
Like when you start
there's a treasure hunt.
You get a map.
Yeah.
And so it gave us an idea and extent of how exactly much that we wanted to do. But again, just out in the open.
Just sitting there.
There's no schematics for the whole place, just sitting there.
Wow.
Why? Who put them there? Why would you take them out? Blah, blah, blah,
it's
blah.
It's like you're being lured.
Yeah. That's why I always keep going back to like the, you know, theatre students,
right.
You know, screwing around and stuff. But like, again, it's like, it's so much effort for the potential for people to get scared when you don't even see the result. You know, it's not that they're sitting there with their cameras or something or detailing this.
Look, also,
thoroughly.
Here's the thing. You and I are both creatives. We understand how creativity works. And that doesn't, like, match up with the typical tropes and...
Well, yeah, that's it. It would be pointless creativity.
Yeah.
And you know, I know some people are into that, but, like, yeah, it fits into that idea... But that idea didn't fit into kind of reality as such, if you know what I mean?
It's like when you're there in the moment, you will interpret it a certain way. But if you're sitting there trying to write out this idea, that's a really shit idea.
Yeah.
Or that's not something that would come to mind.
I mean,
You'd put a big like blood print on it or some shit.
Man, how about one of the rooms has dead bees in it? Like, these ideas get shot down very quickly, you know?
Shot down like the bees.
Oh, ghost zing. We had the building schematic, so we knew exactly how much we were doing. So yeah, okay, so when we were in one of the wings, we hear this horrifying moaning noise. It really scared the absolute...
How did it sound, if you can replicate it? I have to know.
It's kind of like...
I just have to fucking know.
It's a moan/yawn, like... kind of thing. Like, I know that's like typical, you know, people in sheets kind of a bit more like... yawny kind of moan. Yeah,
that's what I want it to be.
Okay. Not quite like that. Close. Somewhere in between my weird kind of nasal nerd yawn and...
We'll fix it in post.
So we rushed out of there. That was our fleeing moment. We're like, okay, we are not sticking around for whatever the fuck is making this noise.
Yeah.
So, of course, we get out and our friend sees a cat slink away.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's the cat. And I'm not a cat person, but I have never heard a cat make this noise. Although apparently when cats yawn, perhaps it's close.
I've owned a few cats.
Have you ever heard them yawn or like...
They don't make a noise when they yawn.
Okay.
They just like open their eyes and mouth as wide as they possibly go.
Well, that's kind of scary on its...
I know.
On a whole new level.
And 50%... and it's a gamble. It's a flip of the coin whether they're going to puke something out. It's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, the
No, but cats like when cats are horny, they make weird sounds. When they're about to fight, they make weird sounds. But it always sounds like a child or like that.
Yeah. Okay.
It's always
Again, so it could be close, but we're not attributing this noise to cats, basically. Yeah. We fleed and we got the hell out of there, and of course, we pissed ourselves laughing afterwards.
Did you go back though?
Oh, of course, of course. This was only like night 1 or something,
right?
And again, we had the schematics. We knew how much further we had to go, so it's like we got to keep going at this. So of course it came back. Okay. This is item time. So
all right. He's showing me an envelope here. Let me take a photo of that as well. There we go.
Okay. This little item I kept from the place because it's one of these. It actually more speaks to how ironically horrible it must have been while it was running.
Okay.
So this is a coaster from the As They're Not Haunted nursing home. Oh, actually, no. I'm going to redact that.
While it was still running.
While it was still running.
Yeah.
While it was still running.
And
so here you are at a nursing home. You're having a cup of tea and you pop it down on this.
Okay. I'm opening up the envelope. It's a coaster. All right. Perslow Funeral Homes.
Isn't that cheerful?
Wow.
When you're having your tea, think about the end of your life.
I can just imagine like the funeral home guy coming in and going, "Hey, how are you ladies? Have some coasters."
Yeah. What the fuck? Although, good on to them. Currently, they've got more merch than our band does.
I know, but it's a modern day bring out your dead guy.
I know. Yeah, right?
That's his business card.
Yeah.
Damn.
Isn't that, ironically depressing?
Yeah.
So there you go. I turned over my apartment for that because I've held on to that.
Thank you.
I used to have some files as well.
I'll take a photo of this too.
Yeah, please do.
That was a damn good coffee. I don't have any sponsors yet, so if you're a coffee place and you want to sponsor me with coffee,
hey,
yeah, I'm down for that.
I should probably remember the name of that place. But yeah, it's the hole in the wall down at the IGA.
Oh yeah,
24.
that one. Yeah.
Nice peeps.
Yeah.
Okay, so did the coasters? We're up to that part. Okay, so which bit am I going to do first? Oh, okay. So again, most of the rooms are empty. Mm-hmm. Some of them just have, random stuff in them, blah, 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 blah. So one of them, oh, God, this is some of the odd, random stuff that we encountered. So in one of the cupboards, you open up the door, and just sitting there is like a mandarin.
Like, is it rotten?
No. When you open the second door to the cupboard, there's a rotten one. So there's a perfectly good one and a completely rotten, decrepit one.
Yeah. That's total Blair Witch shit.
Why? Yeah. Why? Like, what? Yeah. I still
and
to
oranges,
this day,
it's creepy. It's like, how when you go to Bali or Indonesia, how people leave offerings?
Yeah.
For the spirits. And it's like a mandarin.
Yeah, that's kind of what it felt like.
Yeah.
And it was like, here's the pre-offering and that's post-offering.
Yeah.
And that's a little bit scary.
So this is you when you walk in, and then this other one is you when you walk out.
Oh, shit. Yeah, and again, it's just, if this was someone doing it, who the hell upkeeps a perfectly good mandarin and a horribly decrepit? Like,
yeah,
it's odd and it's random and it doesn't make any sense and it doesn't fit into any sort of, normal pattern of behavior or even hijinks and stuff. That's the thing. It's like, I can't imagine putting so much effort for this, tableau of horror.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was one of the rooms. One of the other ones in this extra wing that we got to. All the rooms are generally pretty nice, so to speak. We get in this one. The entire wall and roof is just effed up. Kind of like, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Silent Hill or played the games.
Yeah.
But that kind of demon dimension-y stuff where like everything's starting to like peel off. And
Yeah, it's all dark and black.
Gross
Yeah.
and kind of. It was like that in one room.
Wow.
So you couldn't say that they had like a mold problem or something.
Yeah. It was just
none of the
room.
surrounding rooms had it. It wasn't coming into the hallway on the out. Just this one room. That one.
Just dark and flaking paint. And
so that's the room we chose to stay overnight in. So, yeah, one of the nights we, after finishing...
That's the best idea ever.
I know, right? Just pick the most screwed up one. Well, I mean,
How old were you at this time?
Good question. Probably mid-20s.
Okay. Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's just before your sense
of...
That's before your sense of mortality truly kicks in.
Yeah.
Just before. Yeah.
Yeah. I still think I would explore it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd probably go in more prepared next time. I think we definitely kind of Scooby-Doo rogued it that time. We didn't have proper equipment, and it was just us and our bravado and some flashlights.
There's this amazing prankster on YouTube, and he hides in asylums like that. And it's called Owlman. They made a movie. It's a pretty crappy movie, but they used this owl head, and he's got like these long fingers, and he hides. And it's called like Lord of Tears or something like that. That's the movie they made. But they've got all these prank compilations where people go in to take photos or just to sort of get the willies, and he'll just be hiding in a dark cupboard, and they'll come into the room and he'll come out. And the thing is, it's so fun. I'll show you a photo of it. And I'll post a picture of it as well. Yeah.
Oh no!
Look at that shit.
Oh, that's
imagine that.
That's like salad fingers, but in real life.
Yeah.
Willy factor 6.
Yeah. After this, I'll show you some videos.
Yeah, okay.
It's so funny because, like, even as someone watching it as a viewer, an outsider, you're in on the joke. It's still fucking scary, man.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just great costume design.
Oh, that makes me think of that, was it Rubber Boy or whatever it was? That,
Rubber Johnny.
Rubber Johnny!
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Rubber Johnny.
hate that thing.
Yep. Check it out on YouTube.
Yeah.
And,
be prepared for that.
Yeah. Part of your innocence will leave you.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't unsee that. That is for sure. Willy factor 8 on that one.
Just the sound that comes out. Like,
oh, yeah. And like the ones where like his head like splats on the screen and then comes back and stuff. It's oh.
Let me get a sound of your feet like doing the scared dance.
Oh, a little tapping.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, all right, so we're coming to the end. So we stayed overnight. Nothing happened. Mm-hmm. All of us walked away with our own souls in check, in theory. So some more random stuff. There'd be things like half a photo of someone in a room, and then at the end of one of the second wing that we were exploring, there were stairs to go into this outside backyard court area, where we're met by a Zimmer frame pointing at the stairs. So it's kind of, whoa, Zimmer frame, but it's like...
I'm going to sound like such a dumbass, but what's a Zimmer frame?
Oh, sorry, like a walker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
like with the tennis balls on it?
I
just think they look cute.
Yeah. Not at night, and not when you're exploring a haunted nursing home. It was really freaky. And there, of course, is the other half of this photo.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
So again, it's like, why? Why are these things going together and being put around? So anyway, that led us to this outside area. We legally gained access.
Fuck, I keep forgetting to put my phone on silent. Get out of here. All right, continue. You went to this place.
So the outside area.
Outside, yep.
Kind of courtyard thing. And there was a file storage room that we legally gained access to.
Uh-huh. With a key that one of you had.
Yeah, that we acquired legally.
Yeah.
Patient files. files.
Oh,
and
shit. That's fascinating.
cabinets and just piles and boxes of patient files.
That just shows how little they were cared for during the time that they were there. The fact that it's like their records are not archived properly.
No.
That's so fucking disrespectful.
Yeah. And all these photos, people's mementos and stuff were left behind.
No way.
They're getting funeral home advertised during the coffee breaks. Like, I don't think it was a really nice place to be.
Yeah.
But left behind. Like, even if you abandon this place in a rush, wouldn't you come back and isn't there some sort of legal precedent for...
Of course, that's evidence that, like, bad stuff's happened.
Yeah. But even not, like, say it was a model nursing home.
Right.
Don't they have some sort of legal obligation to deal with those files? Like, don't you have to give them to someone? Or... Surely you can't just
at the very least,
people's files.
Archiving them.
Yeah.
Like they're historical...
Burn the things, or, whatever. So again, really weird. And so then we just had fun, going through, looking at all this patient crap that was going on.
You guys were like Tomb Raiders.
Yeah. It was, it was fun, exhilarating, and.
Did you take many souvenirs? I would have.
I took 2 patient files.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
come on, man. Why didn't you bring it?
I got rid of them. They during some house moves, I had to make some tough calls, and unfortunately, patient files for people I've never seen or heard of ever in my life didn't make the cut one time.
Right.
But I kept the coaster. I kept the coaster.
At the very least.
Yeah.
Have you looked into Perslow funeral homes? Are they still a thing?
No, I haven't actually.
Although I'm gonna Google it right now.
Part of me really hopes that like something weird happened and they had to like abandon their their headquarters or something. So while I'll check this out. While you're checking that out. Okay. So we're in the outside. In this outside courtyard area, there's these old double doors, wooden doors. One of them's open.
Okay.
And like. Of course, I'm elaborating for storytelling purposes, but I promise you, this was the blackest shade of black you've ever seen. Mm-hmm. Like, this was a portal from Stranger Things. This was this door we did not want to go into. I mean, yes, it was open to the rest of the world a bit more than the building, so there was this kind of element of, well, shit, maybe the chances of animals or homeless is a bit higher.
So this is outside still?
Yes, this is from the outside. This kind of like basement boiler laundry room,
right
thing.
It's like one of those things that you run to when there's a tornado coming.
Yeah, I imagine so. But I think it's where all the industrial goings on of the building probably happened. So
the boiler room.
That's always got good connotations, isn't it? Girls skipping rope and singing creepy songs and stuff. Yep. But yeah, like we never actually got. We never actually
hot in here.
Yeah.
I'll try putting the aircon on. If it's noisy, I'll switch it off again.
Yeah, fair enough. So we never actually got. I hate to say, we never actually got brave enough to go in there. It's
no!
It's a room that got kind of that was left unsolved. But whether that was a blessing or a curse, we'll never know because it's. I will be coming back to that in a second.
Okay.
In fact, right now. So,
yes. Is this the final chapter of this episode?
This is pretty much... We are up to, like, epilogue territory here.
Okay.
All right. So, years later, I was working in retail. And as we said before at the start, it doesn't take long for things to shift into the paranormal when you've kind of run out of your small talk and you're onto the deeper the good meanings stuff of life. So, of course, I'm retelling this story and telling them about it, and one of the girls that I worked with says, "No shit, my sister niece or whatever, my relative of some description, worked there, and that boiler laundry room was known to be haunted, effed up. Like the people working there did not like being in this boiler room, lowered room kind of area, and it was like, oh." Creepy vindication. It was like, thank goodness we didn't go in there.
That was probably the main source of the heebie-jeebies of that bad juju.
Yeah, well, it's always the basement, right?
It is.
So basements are always where bad things happen. Yep. Scientific fact.
Yeah. I've heard a rumor. Okay, this could either be if it's bullcrap, I'm saying a meaningless thing.
Okay. But
if it's true, I hope that I don't get someone into trouble, because I was told this by this is maybe 15 years ago, by an extremely earnest person that was basically in tears. And that is that in the basement of the ABC building on St. George's Terrace,
ancient Indian burial ground.
Even better. Baby sacrificing by the Masonics.
What?
Yes.
Wow, it's their ABC too. Oh. Wow, okay.
Yeah, that's when I think of basements, I think of that story.
Wow.
It's just chilling. You know how some people say a story and it's just like...
Yeah.
Just by the way they say it, you're just like, man, you can't be making this up.
I wonder what they were, sacrificing it to. Couldn't have been
I won't say any more details than
funding.
Exactly.
They weren't praying to the wealth gods that day.
Yeah. One day I'd like to do a podcast with someone who has all the lowdown on Masonic conspiracies and stuff. That would be really interesting. Because apparently in Perth there's a whole satanic scene going on where there's lots of weird stuff, including human sacrifice.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good on you, Perth.
I feel like we haven't done enough. But when I heard that, I'm like, yeah, all right, represent.
I could kind of see that. I kind of feel Perth is like the country town of Australia.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm trying to think of that movie where the whole kind of town village knows each other, and they're all like the greater good. And they all wear hoods, but
Hot Fuzz.
Hot Fuzz, thank you. It's like they're all normal people, but at night they put the hoods on and they get down to their shit. That's what Perth is like, I reckon.
Yeah. I like it. I don't love conspiracies, but I do like them.
That's fair enough.
I mean, the whole alien conspiracy thing is... I don't consider it too much of a conspiracy. It's like 9/11. There's so much crap out there where it's a matter of research.
Yeah.
It's not a matter of hearsay or ooh, that could be happening. It's just come on, guys.
Yeah. I think,
I like that sort of stuff.
That's the thing. That's the thing I like. Coming back to the agnosticism part is to say, well, look, I don't know, but at the same time, I'm not just going to blindly accept anything. I still need some proof about stuff. It's. I'm not going to believe you if you tell me, Yeah. Alien Area 51 stuff and blah 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 blah. But if you go, hey, here is some. Mm-hmm. Or, here's some extensive research I've done to prove this stuff. I'll go, hey, I'm going to give that an actual thought.
In the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be speaking to someone who has actually, this is an old friend of mine. And she wants her voice to be hidden because she has had a UFO experience. She told me about it and I was like, holy shit. And that's kind of what inspired me to start doing this.
Yeah, right.
Just in case there's more people like that. But
can you please do an auto-tuned version?
Yeah.
Do one where it's a couple of octaves down and no one can tell it's her, but then do one it's like, hey,
yeah,
aliens in the basement.
I'll download some MIDI of the Bee Gees or something.
Yes.
She can be telling this story crying in to the tune of Staying Alive.
Tears. Oh, God.
Yeah. That's one to listen out for because it is fucking bananas. Yeah.
Tune into that.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of the end of the story. We always joked about going back years afterwards and doing, a little...
Part 2.
Well, just a survey because it's all apartments and stuff now.
All right.
It's just hey, have all your household objects, stayed where they are?
Yeah.
Do you get things floating around? Do you get any weird poltergeist things tapping at your TV screen late at night? Do your children have imaginary friends you can't, account for?
Imaginary. I never had an imaginary friend growing up, but apparently some kids, it's really real.
Oh yeah.
It's like super real.
Pretty sure all my friends are real.
As a child.
How do you tell though?
I don't know. I mean, I've never known anyone that's had an actual, like, hey, here's my friend Sarah. Like, let's put a plate out for her and let's have some food. Sarah says that she doesn't like it when you look at her and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That sort of shit.
I could always see it as the Fight Club thing, where it's like you think it's someone else, but it's actually you or something. But yeah, a distinct alternate personality that is just definitely not there physically. Yeah, I've never run into anyone that's had that either.
Yeah,
not to say it doesn't
mind you,
happen.
this is purely based on like American media.
Of course, yeah. So we're doomed before we started, basically.
Maybe the kids aren't as neglected over here.
Oh, first world birth problems.
Well, at least we have like baby sacrifices.
Yeah, we're representing.
Yeah. Is there anything else that that you have strong suspicions about? Doesn't have to be within the realm of belief, but like, for example, I'm pretty sure there's UFOs, or like I reckon that there is another dimension where beings came. Oh yeah!
Oh goodness! Yeah, don't get me started on that. That'll be a whole new.
That's why we're
podcast chapter.
I want to hear. Give me a rundown.
You want to give me? Okay. I would say that there. Okay. God, how do I phrase this? On a general flatline basis, foundation level, we've got energy, we've got vibrations, and there's different levels of them, and a level of understanding and comprehension plays into what we can and can't see and understand. So, for example, there's an analogy of when the boats were coming to America, that the native population couldn't actually see the boats. They could see the piling of the waves and stuff, but they couldn't see the boats because they had no concept of what they were.
Huh.
So you know what I mean? It's like we knew what boats were.
Yeah.
They knew what boats were. They were on the bloody things. But in theory, they couldn't process boats because they had no concept that there could be these big giant wooden structures floating on the water coming at them. So there's this idea that they could see the piling of the waves or something, but until it really got to them, they couldn't process it and therefore kind of couldn't see it.
So it's like saying part of reality is a manifestation of your preconceived notions.
Yeah.
That's really fucking weird. I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, right. And so I kind of think that works on the kind of level... That kind of can work across different levels and things. So, for example...
Right.
That would be my explanation of what people might have seen God as, and why from every religion it looks different.
Yeah.
My little theory on the big G is that there is actually something there, but because of our contexts and our perceptions, that's why no one ever sees it as the same thing.
Yeah.
If that kind of makes sense.
I mean, possibly also over time, Chinese whispers.
Well, that's it. Yeah, you could purple monkey dishwasher the crap out of it. And so that kind of extends beyond. So to say, for example, one concept idea I really, really love is the idea of, how we process higher level entities. So, for example, crop circles. I've got no idea where I got this from, but there's a theory being that they could be a cross-section, so our fourth dimensional access of a fifth dimensional thing. So, like, for example, a CGI scan where, say if it's doing the brain, you see that thing where, like, you can see the layers as it goes through, and you see the brain kind of grow and... So it's change as you're seeing a 2D layer of a 3D object. It's kind of like that, but our 3D versus 4 or 5D or whatever it is.
Yeah, so it's like a 5D shadow.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting. When I see crop circle, it reminds me of the artifacts that were put on the Voyager.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not talking Voyager, Star Trek.
No, I wish you were, but yeah.
Like the golden disc, and they've got, you know, the Fibonacci. They've got a whole bunch of different forms of communication, and it's got this kind of like pattern to it. It's got this interesting sort of It sort of speaks like if you didn't know anything about it, it speaks in a similar way to crop circles.
Yeah. No, I agree with that because my other more rational way of looking at it would be I don't know how it's coming about, but it's some sort of like ultra intense. I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Is it cymactics? Cymactics, which is essentially shapes that are formed by vibrations. Yep. So a good example is when you put
sand on a speaker,
and that kind of stuff, and frequencies change the shapes and things that you get. This is the kind of next level of that.
Yeah, because it's like, look, I'm a believer in metaphysics, and that falls into the realm there, and that is a whole other thing. That's not even a whole another podcast episode. It's a whole different podcast.
Oh yeah.
Like metaphysics is, I find it fascinating. Just like the whole idea of what is beneath is as above type of thing.
Oh yes,
that's compelling as fuck. And that makes a lot of sense as well. Yeah. I won't get too much into that, but I've never heard that theory on crop circles before, like being
a cross section.
Yeah, cross section, or just
it's interesting, right?
Yeah, a type of expression of something above. Because I always thought of it as like, if it's not fake, it's a message.
Yeah. Well,
it could be an expression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always like the synchronicities of things, where, for example, if people have, I think it was this, they were matching them up where it was like either people discovering it or when it becomes part of the general world consciousness, like certain ideas and certain mathematical concepts and stuff, they'd show up in the crop circles.
Yeah.
So things like, look, it's a whole iceberg to delve into, but essentially, it's, the information that gets portrayed in them.
Yeah.
Can be quite relevant to some of the ideas and stuff that are getting kind of expressed and described at the time. So it's that kind of thing of like, we're figuring it out, and then you're getting this we're figuring... Oh, sorry.
That's right.
We're figuring it out, and then you get these vindications in these cross-sections. But another way I like to look at it is that it's the Donnie Darko thing, where you are the physical cross-section of that. That movie gave me a fucking headache, man. Snake? Yeah. I loved it. I only understood it when someone I saw like a video essay on it. And it went for about an hour. And that movie is just so elaborate and so deep. Yeah. Like if you're just watching it as a movie, you're just like, huh? Yeah. You know? You can decide whether you enjoy it or not. But I don't often go back and see movies like a lot of times. But that one, I think at least 10 times I would have gone and seen that in cinema. Just every time, you're getting a little piece, you're finding a little thing there, and you're just trying to consolidate it in your head. And I think that's a wonderful art form when people try to express an idea that's too deep for a sentence. It's too deep for possibly, maybe it's even more profound than what words can be expressed as. Yeah. And one of those artists I love is Alan Resnick. Alan Resnick, yeah. He works with a team, and they make these kind of performance art videos, which are the most elaborate things you'll ever see. The one I first came across, I was like late one night, just trying to watch something spooky, and I saw this explanation video, and I was like, okay, it goes for an hour. I thought, okay, and it had like lots of views, really high rated. I'm like, it says this house has people in it explained, and this house has people in it is an 11-minute video of surveillance footage inside a home. And at first it's normal. It's just people doing normal things around the house. I think it's a combined family, so you get the feeling that it's like the son is from the father and the daughter is from the mother, and there's a grandma there, and there's a baby as well. And at one point, the daughter, you realize that she's been lying on the floor in the kitchen the whole time, but they're ignoring her like she's just being a bratty teenager. And then they start talking to her, just like, come on, you should say something to her, get her up. And she's not listening to that. And they're like, hold on a second. And they go to pull her, pick her up. And she's sinking through the floor. What? And she keeps sinking. And from then on, everything starts to go crazy. Okay. And,
a couple of the details kind of leave me, but there's a birthday party that's waiting for the little boy outside, and they're not allowing anyone to come inside. So there's all these kids with their presents, and this is all like surveillance footage. I'll show it to you as well after this. It's all surveillance footage, and these kids are waiting outside, and the girl finally falls through the floor into the basement, and by this time, like, there's something burning in the oven and the place is filling with smoke. The baby is like crawled off by themselves out in the backyard, and it's going out of the view of the things. And the one of the final shots is like all the kids that were waiting for the birthday party are now lying on the floor, face down, sinking into the ground.
What?
Yeah, it's 11 minutes. However, here's the thing. That's just the beginning. This inspired the blood giant.
Okay.
The storytelling type stuff.
Ah.
Because hidden within that are like so many thousands of Easter eggs. I saw an interview with Alan Resnick, and it's like they've lost track of everything that's in there. And it's like it takes you to websites. It takes, like, you can download little computer games that they've made. There's archive footage of the family, hours and hours and hours of archive footage. There's phone conversations that you overhear. There are emails that they've been sending each other that you can read.
What? Okay.
So instead of like doing the search yourself, I recommend that you go to, it's on YouTube. It's like about a 1.5 hour video. It's called "This House Has People in It Explained."
Yep.
And yeah, I've never seen anything like it. But here's the thing. Everyone has their own, based on their biases, okay, because I've watched a lot of these analysis videos about it.
Yeah.
And everyone seems to be so sure of the meaning of it. Because it seems to have a meaning. Like, for me, it has a meaning. Like, it really speaks to me in a very strong way. But for other people, they're like, oh, this is like a kind of like atheist thing. This is like an anti-theist sort of statement.
Yeah,
or like it just depends on. Yeah, I'd love to know what you think.
Well, that's it. Yeah, like context and.
It's fucking amazing though.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, and it's and he's made other stuff like unedited footage of a bear.
Okay.
I won't even explain it.
Okay.
It's a little 10-minute thing. Just go watch it. Unedited footage of a bear. It's
okay.
It's the best.
Done. That kind of hurts my mind.
So, do you have any more ghost spooky stories?
Ghost stuff? No, that's
It doesn't have to be. I just said ghost. I wasn't even thinking. But have you got anything else that?
I haven't got anything personally for myself.
Yeah.
But my only other little validation that I've had through a friend that was kind of creepy was one of those things where they're in the family home. A lot of the extended family is there. The grandfather was not very well. You know, kind of last moments, everything. That's kind of why the family had rallied together, kind of thing.
Right.
And yeah, it was one of these things where I think she was up for, midnight snacks or something, or she was the last one to bed or something. And the grandpa kind of comes out. They have this wonderful conversation.
Oh no, I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah, and then she finds out that he had passed away in the night before that conversation had happened.
Yeah.
Like
That's incredible.
They timed it before them. It's just it's
like my the dude that gave me did my last few tattoos. He told me a really similar story. I've heard other stuff like that. I don't get it. I don't fucking get it. And these are people, they're looking at me in the eyes and they're telling me this, and I know they're not lying to me. They're not liars.
Yeah.
And he was visiting. He went to Adelaide to visit his grandmother who was about to die. She died on the way. So he arrived at their place, and the uncle was there sort of cleaning out her place. They knock on the door. She opens the fucking curtain as she always had a million times. Him and his brother both saw her look at them through the window. Like, it gave him a look of recognition, as she always would have. And they were like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
They ran inside, looked around. Obviously there was nothing, but Yeah. I really hope one day that gets solved.
So do I.
Just like,
so do I.
what is that? You know?
But yeah, as I would try and rationalise it, would be, as I said before, it's that thing of understanding. I think once we understand how energy works and what levels it works on, we'll be able to look at all this stuff and go, oh, okay, well, that's a byproduct of this, or that's a cross-section of that, or, you know, this is... we don't necessarily have to have this place and some other place, or, you know...
Okay.
The dimensions don't have to be next to each other. They could be all
in the same. We're just seeing part of the spectrum sort of thing.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And there's through vibrations there's a bit of crossover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I guess the again coming back to that kind of Buddhist science divide, it was really good. I think it must have been within the last decade, but there was a funny revelation that, you know, as soon as we kind of looked into the core of stuff, and you say, well, look, you know, you've got the nucleus and a big space, and then you've got this electron shell, so essentially everything is nothing. You know, everything is space. Yeah. And then, of course, the Buddhists put their hand up and they say, hey, we've been saying that for centuries. Welcome to the club, you know?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of gaps for stuff to happen in, basically.
Yeah. But what you're saying about, like, ancient knowledge, which is now being proven, is, you know, another thing which I find, I used to laugh about it so much, especially because of this awful set of documentaries called Ancient Aliens.
Is that Von Daniken?
Yeah.
Like Chariots of the Gods and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, I hate those.
Yeah. Some of it's interesting as fuck, though.
Yeah. That's the bit I love about it. The thing I hate about those is that it just presupposes things and then continues on.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like, here's an outlandish claim, and based on that, let's continue on.
Yes. Exactly.
But hang on, no. That's outlandish. Can we go back to that bit where you're just spouting crap and then basing your
you've walked
process on it?
It's like you've walked into a random church somewhere.
Yeah,
and they're just like, you know, they're talking about stuff based on their own rules. It's like, you know, they've done all this world building and they just expect you to go along with it.
Yeah. And it's definitely one of those things where they've obviously, you know, they've got their entire picture ahead of them and they're trying to give it to you in bits. But then there's obviously a bias because, you know, they're headed to this big picture that they're trying to kind of get you on board with.
Yeah.
But yeah, certainly not disputing that it's certainly not it's not thought provoking.
Yeah. Yeah. There's one thing that I think it was the Ancient Aliens series. There was one episode which I fucking loved. It's this old guy. I can't remember exactly, but it was something like this Romanian dude, and he built this. It was like a theme park, made of stone.
Yeah.
Right? Huge stones that he built all by himself during the night without like anyone watching him. And all he had was like this giant tripod and a small black box. That's all he was ever like recorded as having with him as his building tools.
Oh, I think I've heard about that. And wasn't that kind of the basis on some of the ideas of how the pyramids and stuff were done? Using this super simple idea of physics and weight distribution, you're able to accomplish these superhuman things.
Yeah. I want to know what's happening behind that.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Though, funnily enough, I mean, speaking of the Egyptians, I certainly wouldn't put it past, again, power of belief and stuff like that. You know, their religious core, their belief structure was so strong. And again, you know, mind over matter. I think belief is very powerful. I mean, we see it get put to a lot of bad uses, but again, I think if you can channel it, I think you can do amazing things with it.
Yeah, I'm not quite there yet. That's a concept that I feel is, for me anyway, it's still a little bit a simple explanation for something that is probably more profound.
True.
Something that it's even like would even be like eventually considered scientific. Like, because it's like because that sort of territory overlaps with The Secret. You know The Secret.
Oh, that was the believe what you want and get it kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
Maybe it's just the terminology that...
Yeah, possibly.
That has to be clarified for me about that, because...
That's fair enough.
Because I think it's interesting. I think, like when you believe in something, and when you're really positive about something, and when you're obsessed with something, like, whatever opportunities that do open, that you've, like, possibly forged yourself, it's going to be way more likely than nothing at all. But when you talk... Okay, look, but we're talking about, like, defying the laws of physics and stuff like that through something like a preconceived notion. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Kind of.
Like going back to the, Columbus's ships, and like them not seeing the ships in the water because that wasn't part of their reality.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I guess the thing with that is to clarify that, I mean, the ships were obviously there, but they just couldn't perceive them. So it wasn't, they didn't vanish the ships, they just couldn't understand what it was coming at them. So it looked like...
Okay. I think there's something in that concept that I'm missing.
Probably.
I'm just oversimplifying it because I'm a retard.
It properly either. No.
You mean the ships were invisible? Okay.
To them, technically. I do think there's certainly something in the power of in the power of belief, making that leap of faith, making that unquantifiable, concrete... Oh, God, how do you describe it? Like, well, yeah, it really is a manifestation of isness. Like, this concept that has possibly no quantifiable examples or what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. It's not going to come to me.
Okay.
But,
okay. I'm trying to understand what you're saying here.
Well, okay. So one example that I'm trying to get to is like during my esoteric researches and things, I did a lot of looking into chaos magic. And a big part of that is...
Chaos magic.
Yeah. A big part of that is this kind of secrety thing where it is about... a lot of it is about thinking about something. Kind of charging it up with your thoughts, using sigils, baking it into a kind of a mental thing.
Right.
And then forgetting about it. And then in forgetting about it, your subconscious does the work. And so you kind of charge it up with power... You pop it in your subconscious because you have to not think about it for it to work. Yeah. I think that also plays into, say, what is it? Not Murphy's Law, but Gumperson's Law, which is the more you want something, the less it'll happen. Right.
So you have to reverse psychology the universe.
Yeah, pretty much. You pretty much say, I really, really want this thing, and now I don't care about it. And the universe goes, well, hey, okay. I like the cut of
It's like, hold on. I haven't said no yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Want me.
But then one of the things is once you can do that, the idea is that you could essentially take any belief structure and work with it. Mm-hmm. So you could be a Christian for a day. You could practice Judaism for a day. Use these belief structures and the things that they use, and kind of work with it with your energy, all that kind of stuff. Or, make up your own. They were even suggesting, you can try any of the major religions, or you can, throw a dice for a day and just believe that this dice outcome is changing your world.
Wow. Okay, that's interesting.
But yeah,
you are an extremely philosophically driven person.
Yeah, but unfortunately that's my undoing. Because I don't believe, because I can't make that logic jump, it unfortunately invalidated the entire Chaos Magician process for it, because a lot of it was like, you need to be able to make that logic jump, but you're allowed to choose whatever logic you're jumping to. So it's kind of believing and not believing, but in not believing, attaining the magic of belief.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I couldn't do it. So I've got a whole bookshelf of chaos magic books that unfortunately I can't really use.
Right. Anyway, man, I think we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, this is an entire other
chaos
podcast.
Magic. Yeah, I've got a whole bunch of stuff to show you now.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna have a bit of a mind fuck.
Yes.
Over the next couple hours here.
It was nice knowing you, Internet.
No, I've got lots of creepy things to. On my favourites list. But thanks everyone for listening, and if you're in Perth and you want to talk to me and you're not a weirdo, you're not going to
And if you've got some babies to sacrifice...
yeah. Just get in touch. And let's talk about it. All right. I'll see you later. You've been listening to the Fear of the Unknown podcast. Be sure to follow us on social media with all links in the description.